Hi everyone, we're back again. You're on Strut Your Stuff Entrepreneurs, and we are interviewing Terri Ann Daniels from noiseschool.com.
Yay!
Hi Terri. Oh, my name's Carly.
And I'm Keon. We always forget to introduce ourselves.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
That's great.
This is absolutely awesome because we're all in Melbourne and we're probably not that far away from each other, but you're working from a shared office space. Could you let people know? Because I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. It's great. It's called Electron Workshop and it's in North Melbourne.
Right.
And it's really a great sort of community of entrepreneurs and small business owners who come together and just really share a space to work from every day. It can be, I know for myself, really difficult to work from home.
Yeah.
Because before you know too long, you're in your pajamas and you're doing the washing. And,
got the soaps on.
Yeah, exactly. So turning up to a space every day has been great for me. I've been doing it for years and I love it. And you just meet so many inspiring people that are just like you, trying to run their business and, you know, sharing and learning from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, every day I'm pumped to come in here. There's guys working with 3D printers and mobile apps are being built. There's some architects. There's a fab girl working on construction, and like the environment itself even is just great. So I would really recommend it, even if it's just 1 or 2 days a week, to, you know, get into one of these spaces.
Oh wow!
Yeah, well, we might come and visit next year when we get kicked out of this office.
Yeah.
But so you own the business noise school. Can you tell us a bit about that? That sounds really interesting to me.
Sure thing. So Noise School is a way for me to refer to the common thing that happens in most businesses, which is lack of productivity, essentially. And I use the term noise to describe what causes productivity to happen, because there's a lot of information out there about productivity, but not necessarily a lot about what's causing a lack of productivity and how to overcome it. So over time, I've had this name that's sort of come about. So I call myself the Noise Whisperer, and I try to help my clients. I help my clients overcome the day-to-day noise in their business so that they can grow. And the way that I do that, especially with creatives, is to help them use online software like collaborative project management type software like Basecamp or Asana, which is my favorite, and help them have a bit of a rhythm to their day and the way that they work with clients. So the way that I do that is I have essentially like a client intake form, and you would let your clients access that online. So the client is basically putting all their information in for you in one sort of fell swoop, so that you have it all online and it's accessible to you, or maybe your VA, or maybe you've got a developer that you're working with. And so that means that you just cut down on lots of emails, lost emails, phone calls, text messages, Facebook posts, Twitter, all the different ways that clients can interact with you, which is great, but it also needs to be channeled so that you still feel productive each day. So that's what I do. I have a bunch of templates, documentation, I do training. I do the training online or in person, and I've just really helped the business owner identify why they were in business in the first place. What was that original fantasy of, I'm going to have my own business and it's going to be great. And
that romantic thought, and then it happens. It's like, oh.
You're like, this thing's calling me, and I don't, it drives you crazy. And so I try to help reconnect with that, because if somebody's been in business for a few years, the reality kicks in of, this feeling inundated or overwhelmed or just not feeling really on top of things. And that can sort of wear you down, and you sort of lose a bit of faith that this was a good idea to begin with.
So do you, predominantly work with people who've been in business for a few years, or do you help startup businesses as well when they have all their ideas going on at once?
I do both. And I think...
and do they differ from each other, I suppose?
They do, in that, so some clients will have sort of say 20 staff in one office. Some might have 11 staff, but they're spread out over 6 different offices in 4 different countries or whatever. They might have full-time staff, part-time, might use some contractors or a VA overseas.
Yeah.
So the dynamics of how all that works is different for every client, but with all the tools that we have available now, and most of them are free, they can utilize all these tools exactly the same way. So I have a bunch of, it's basically a blueprint called the noise method, and I imprint that onto their business for them with all their systems, and I train them how to use it, and I train their staff about the concept of noise and how if you don't do things properly the first time, really thoroughly, train everybody and hold everybody to a level of excellence, then actually what's going to end up happening is the noise that people just inherently generate through not doing things well is going to fall on your shoulders. You're going to get the phone call, or you can't find something online, or somebody does something not quite how you had wished it would be done, and you get frustrated, and then you just do it yourself, and then they go and do it, the wrong way again. It's not fault. It's really just noise, and it's most of it, I would say, is completely unnecessary. So they're all different, and they all get different things out of it, and it changes them more. So I'm really happy doing it for them as well.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just going to ask, with a, say, for example, a solopreneur and a creative, and with all of their ideas, they're all sort of trying to juggle so many things at once. Have you got any, do you work with those people as well?
Absolutely. I was just chatting with a lady this morning, actually, who's a graphic designer, and she works on her own, although I think she does also work with a few other designers sort of as backup help. But I was chatting with her about how to sort of corral her clients into working with her in such a way that she can be more productive, and that the interaction between them becomes about talking about creative issues as opposed to, have you emailed me that file? I can't access it. You end up interacting on all the really gritty, boring, mundane, frustrating things, instead of really the reason they're engaging you is because of the creative juice, this beautiful thing that happens between you. So I work with sort of one person businesses or up 20 or 30, but for a one person business, I advise them to try to work with their clients in a funnel sort of fashion. So say, I'd love to work with you. The way that I can offer these great prices, if that's what you offer, is because I'm really productive. The way that I keep productive is I ask all my clients to please converse with me in this fashion. I have this great little online platform. It's free for you to use. And you can see regular updates of the work that I'm completing. You can access all the files that you need, and I'll provide updates and so forth. And oftentimes, I know with my own clients, I'm kind of relieved. A system. They're really open to using it, and often they go on and want to use the system themselves because they realise, gosh, something like it's going to be really complicated to try to, how do you talk with somebody about branding and creative work and getting a website built or whatever. And when it's so seamless, it's refreshing. It's like something out of the normal.
Wow.
So it's the really missing link, isn't it? Especially for creatives, because they just want to be able to produce. They don't want to have that noise of where's this, where's that. So if a client, like I've been, the client of a graphic designer, and I'm sitting there going, I wish they'd just hurry up and show me what they're bloody doing, and you're always sorry to bother you, but you're not really. It's like, where's my
and it's
fucking
too late
graphic?
You've already interrupted them.
Sorry, I've just been really blunt there, and they're probably going, oh, she's a mad woman, or if she just gave me 5 minutes, I'd be able to do it. But if we had something like that to see what they're doing. And to see, okay, there's been a bit of movement, there's now a circle around the little picture or whatever, then that's just amazing. Exactly. I think that's the missing link to a lot of the businesses, especially those types.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. It certainly was the missing link in my own business, and for the clients that I've worked with, they consistently come back and say, we just don't know how we survived without this. And usually it's the impetus for change is usually the business owner has just had enough.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't take it anymore. And they're like, please, somebody give me an answer. So I kind of, the good thing is that now with all of this software, it really, it's free, which is mind-blowing. It's incredible that the software is free. It's really easy to use. If you have time, you can invest in setting it up yourself, or you can work with somebody like myself or, dozens of other people out there who have great systems, and they just basically take a fully functioning working system, say for a graphic designer or a bookkeeper or whatever business you have, and they just slot it in, and it's like, oh, I've got a weekly, monthly checklist. Great.
Wow.
I know I need to check
a
my...
VA, isn't it? Personal assistant.
It's helping yourself be so organised that it kind of forces productivity out of you, if that makes sense, because you just come in each day and you've already decided 4 days ago how you're going to spend that day.
That's what we need.
And
so you'll even have time to watch the Oprah episodes. Not that
you can allocate your time to watch Oprah if you want to. The good thing is also working with VAs. I think a lot of us are considering, working with a VA, and I hear a lot of comments on social media about, well, how do I do that, and how do I really set them up to succeed, and how do I get the best value out of my time to train people and so forth. And there is absolutely a missing link at the moment with working with VAs, because I think the frustrations that come out are often directed at the VA when actually it's your poor lack of systems. So what I do with working with my own VA and helping other clients work with theirs is, in Asana, for example, we have a system where you allocate a task to your VA and you document how you would like it done, and you set a due date, and then the VA just goes in there and starts working on it. And you can link to Dropbox, you can link to Google Drive, all these different tools.
Love it.
And that can be happening whilst you're asleep.
Wow.
And when you wake up in the morning, you just hit refresh and you can see all the progress. And I actually use tags, so I allocate time. So if I allocate a task and I know it's going to be like an hour's worth of work, I just assign a tag called 1 hour, and then when the work's finished, my VA just marks it as complete. And then each week I have a task for myself, which is to go and pay my VA. And so I know, based on all the tasks that have been completed in the last week, I need to pay them, 18, 27 hours. I just pop in and do it.
That's amazing.
You just don't even have to think about it.
Wow.
It's so good. So I really would encourage
Why
everyone.
aren't you huge and out there? I just happened to stumble upon you, but you should be out there. People should know about what you're offering.
Hello, where am I right now?
Yeah. I guess that's the thing. You could be worldwide. Your service can be offered to anyone in the world.
Thank you.
I just
That's
think
really lovely to do that.
so many businesses could benefit from that. It's phenomenal.
Well, I struggle with the same things that everybody else does, which is, how do I maximize my time?
Yeah.
So my business is actually in transition right now, where I've gone from working very, very one-on with a client, where I'll spend days, sometimes weeks, in their business with them, physically helping their team put all this stuff in place. But I really want to reach a bigger audience. I want to help more people. And so I'm transitioning to make all of my templates and my documentation, which is vast, available online.
Wow.
So in the very near future, you're going to be able to go to my website and say, I want to download the graphic designer package, and it'll come with all the infrastructure that you need to run a graphic design business properly, effectively, productively, without all the noise. And it will also obviously come with some training around the concept of noise, how to identify it, how to sort of nip it in the bud, how to document things really well, so that when you do want to work with a VA, it doesn't suck more of your time just to get them up to speed. It's coming, trust me.
Right. This has been such useful information. Thank you so much for giving us all of those tips. Can you let us know your business again and your website so everyone can find you?
I actually wanted to ask one last question.
Okay.
Sorry.
Task away.
Yes. So we've got Strut Your Stuff Entrepreneurs, but we've also started Strut Your Stuff Juniors. And that's sort of bubbling away in the background. But everybody we speak to, we ask them, what's the advice you would give to yourself as a 15-year-old, or now, what would you tell yourself back then?
So loaded.
Such a great question. What did I tell myself back then?
What advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, I would just say to myself, just be your own empire.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
which is kind of how I was trying to live my life as a young person, but you know, before the internet and before all these technologies and before being able to communicate with everyone everywhere, I did often feel as though I was sort of trudging my own little path. So if anything, I would just remind myself that, you know, amazing things are coming sort of 20 years in the future that you can't even fathom right now.
Wow.
And so just keep doing what you're doing. I really wouldn't change anything. I really wouldn't. I mean, I was so fortunate to have a really driven sort of internal engine of wanting to experience and learn and invest in different things. So I've had, you know, a world of amazing experiences just through being prepared to put myself out there and try things. So
That's awesome.
that would be my advice, just to keep believing in yourself and don't give up.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Yeah,
And finding
me too,
out about
guys.
this. We'll be
I
talking.
know. Yes.
Yeah,
tell
I should
us
come
your
in there and sort you guys out.
I know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, tell us your business
Website address.
Yeah.
Noiseschool.com.
Yep.
Excellent.
And we can find you
And
on
you can
social
find-
media.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at terryanndaniels.com. Oh,
Excellent.
actually, just Terri Ann Daniels, yeah.
Terri Ann
Great.
Daniels. All right,
Great.
wonderful.
Thank you
you
so
for your
much.
time.
It's a
And we'll
pleasure.
be seeing you in the future, hopefully.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.